Welcome to the Broke Book Girls podcast. We're Anne and Bree, and this podcast is going to be your go-to destination for indie reads. We highlight incredible indie authors, explore new worlds, and introduce you to books that you won't find anywhere else. Tune in for your next read, a laugh, and a share in the joy of finding your home. Hello and welcome to the Broke Book Girls podcast, your go-to place for indie reads. I'm your host Anne, and today we're having a fun episode for you guys where we're discussing what makes a book a good book, in our opinion. Before we jump in, this is our own personal preferences on what makes a good book and why we rate certain books highly. So let's talk about current reads. What are you currently reading, Bree?
I've got 3 on the go.
You've kind of like fallen down the hill.
I had the goal
snowball.
this year, 1 book at a time, and then I don't know what happened, but it's not like, you're reading a book and then you put it down and you're like, I want to read this one.
Mm-hmm.
So I have got Touch by Natalia Jester going on. I did finish when Fair Dance with Courage, which was such a good reread. But I've got Touch, and then I have got my book from my 12 books recommended by 12 friends. This one was recommended by Maddie, so I'm reading Ruthless Vows.
Oh yeah.
And then I've also got, based off of the TV show, also not another indie, but I'm an audiobook listening to it. It's Rivals by Jilly Cooper. The audiobook is audiobooked by Georgia Tennant, who is the wife of David Tennant, who stars in the show Rivals on Disney+.
Oh, that's cool. That's a nice little
tidbit for you. The Tennants are
I thought you were going to say Doctor Who, and I was like, oh, Doctor Who.
Oh,
no.
I have been. Well, I mean, they were both in Doctor Who, too, so... Well, it's really funny when I watch that show, and then there's David Tennant not, playing like a dickhead, and I'm sitting there going... That's not my doctor, but okay. This isn't Doctor Who.
Yeah.
What are you reading?
So I just finished Sea of Evil and Desire by J. Strelou. That was really, really good. I really enjoyed it. It's a mermaid story. And I'm also currently reading... You're...
I was just
in the background, Bree's just like making weird hand movements, making me laugh.
They weren't that weird. Let me just clarify, they weren't that weird. I was just making my hand wave like a mermaid. You can't. It's really hard to say what I did, but it wasn't weird.
So yeah, I really enjoyed that, and then I'm also currently reading a not indie, which is A Queen This Fierce and Deadly. I think that's what it's called. The titles are very similar in the whole series, so it's the 4th book in the Kingdom of Lies series by Stacia Stark. But I haven't been really reading a lot this month. Just May has kind of disappeared.
Yeah, I don't know how we're in the middle of May, and as we are recording this episode, we are less than 24 hours out from our baby being thrown into the world, which is wild.
Yeah, we're very excited, but also scared.
Oh yeah, I think your microphone is being muffled, by the way.
Probably.
There we go. Cool. We're both dressed very cozily. It is cold currently. We're in hoodies and dressing gowns, and at least we can't hear your stomach grumble. That's the main thing.
No, I just stuffed my face full of pizza before we were recording.
Beautiful.
Yeah. All right, so the bulk of our episode today is going to be about what makes a book good. And this is our personal opinions. Let's not have a fight in our DMs, please.
This is purely our opinions, and everyone is entitled to their opinions. And although I do say to some people, everyone is entitled to their wrong opinion, this is not one of those cases where there is a wrong opinion.
Yeah, and this is basically just just giving you some of the things that we look at when we're reading as to why we give a book a certain rating, whether it's a 5-star or 4-star. And yeah, so do you want to start us off, Bree?
Why not? Oh, dang. This is why it would have been I should have written some notes, actually thought about this. I'm just thrown on the spot. Look, I think to start, really, for me, I'm a huge fan of solid world building.
Mm-hmm.
You open a book, and it doesn't necessarily have to start with the world building, but when you read through it and you get that full 3-dimensional kind of idea of what a world is supposed to be like, you get, what it kind of looks like, what you can kind of hear, what you can kind of smell, what you can kind of touch. You go using all of your senses, but all in your head. I don't know, if I'm reading a book and it's describing a meadow, I don't expect to smell a meadow. I expect to smell a book if I put the book to my face.
Yeah.
They haven't gone that far into creating things yet. Smell-o-vision is thankfully not a thing. But I think that's probably one of the biggest ones, as long also the world building, if it's not done all in one big chunk.
Yeah, an info dump.
An info dump. I info dump enough as it is, as a human. I don't want to read someone info dumping on me. If I get info dumped, I'm more likely to just skim the pages, go to the next one, move on, because I'm like, I don't want to read any more of this. Yeah. It's probably why I have put down a lot of books in the past, is because there's just so much happening, and a lot of words.
A lot of words.
Too many words. Too many. Yeah. And look, we're readers. We love words. But there's a point.
Yeah. J.R. Tolkien or whatever. Not J.R. Tolkien.
Tolkien and his also
5 pages is describing a bloody tree.
But it's not just a tree, it's an ent. As a Tolkien fan, that is my one hear me out. It's fine. It's Tolkien. Another apparently is another non-indie is H.P. Lovecraft. I'm about to get into his works because I play Call of Cthulhu, so I'm about to get into some of his works to understand. And apparently he can go from I have no idea how to describe this, and then for 7 pages will describe exactly what you're seeing.
Oh.
So I'm going to be audiobook listening to that.
And that's probably a good...
Because then I can just go to sleep.
Yeah. I would say jumping on to world building as well is understanding the world. Because, you can throw all this information at me, but if I don't understand it, I'm not going to remember it. And that's just simple as, you can make it as complicated as you want and have so many different layers to the world, but your readers need to understand it. And I think once I understand a world, once I can see it, I've got I can never say aphantasia, where I actually can't see the images in my head. But if I understand the concept of how this world works and how it should look, then it makes it 10 times easier for me and much more enjoyable.
And also, in books with that world building is when they call back to things. And then you go, oh yeah, I remember that now. You go, oh, you have mentioned this before on this page. Yeah. It's that... Yeah. You're not giving you information about what something looks like, and then never going back to it.
Yeah, I like little bits of information being kind of drip fed throughout as well. So even in a series, you could be reading, and in book 2, you'll find out a new piece of something about the world, which I always enjoy as well. And it's just world building is definitely one of them that kind of, if I'm not interested in the world and I don't understand how it works, I'm not going to enjoy the book.
It's a very easy to then just put the book down and never go back, because you're just like, this is not that. It's between that and then too much information in one go, and I'm like, okay, never reading this again.
It's a fine balance.
It is a fun, and I know like people want, like we want the information, and I know people want to get that information out, and I guess that's another thing where editing comes really into hand.
Yeah.
Of your editor goes in and goes, okay, let's space this out a little bit,
Hmm.
otherwise you're gonna lose the readers.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's probably my biggest one that I do. I love world building. I love good
Yeah.
world building.
Yeah.
What about you? What would something you say is, something that makes a good book, just
Um, Pulling me in from the
mm,
start. I find that within the first 50 pages, I can decide whether or not I'm going to like the book. Just by if I have no interest in what's been happening in the first 50 pages.
mm,
And that's generally when I will DNF a book, is if I'm not enjoying it and I feel like nothing's pulling me in, I'm not enjoying the character, like just whatever it is I have no interest. I'd rather be doing anything else apart from reading, when reading is one of my biggest pastimes and one of my favorite things to do. And if it's like I'm actively like picking up my phone and like scrolling through Instagram for no bloody reason, or like um offering to fucking clean something.
yeah, that's when you know it's just like this is not
It's
a
yeah.
yeah.
So things like a really good solid first line that makes me
Mm,
very intrigued to find out what that means, or a prologue where it's like this person's dead, blah 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 blah, and then we in chapter one we go back in time
yeah,
or whatever and kind of follow that story and see how it happens. I really love stuff like that. But yeah, I think that's a big thing for me is the first 50 pages, if it's pulled me in and intrigued me enough to keep reading or not.
and pulling from that, if the main character isn't annoying.
Yeah.
I have I'm not so much the first 50, I'm more like the first 25 pages,
Yeah.
sometimes just the first chapter. If I'm
Yeah.
reading the book and the main character is annoying me from the beginning, I'm like, this is not
Hmm.
gonna work.
Yeah.
This
Yeah. You
character is
know
a
it's just going to get
know-it-all, I
worse.
can't deal.
Yeah. 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 I've DNF'd a book in 4 pages
Yeah.
before.
It's a
And
horrible
that
feeling.
it is. And it's like, oh, and it was an arc. Um, and I couldn't get into it. I just didn't like the character, and just the way the voice of the character was, I didn't like it. And
Mm,
it's but also at the same time I've read so many books that I if I can pick up a book and immediately be like, this isn't for me. Like I kind of know
mm,
fairly quickly what isn't for me and what is going to be something that I enjoy. So,
mm.
yeah.
And it's usually, sometimes it is literally the first line. The
Yeah.
first line of the book is, I know, like we walk into a bookstore, some people go for the cover, some people go for the blurb, some people go for that very first line.
Hmm.
How does the book start?
Yeah.
If it starts off with someone dead, I'm like, ooh,
Ooh.
what's going on? Why are they
Yeah.
dead? This is really
Yeah.
dramatic. I'm like, for a prologue, give me more.
Yeah. But then again, saying that at the same time, I've had books that haven't pulled me in the first 5 to 6 page, like 5 to 10
Mm,
pages or whatever, and the first line wasn't anything spectacular, but then I just fall into the book. I love the characters, I love the world, and
mm,
immediately it becomes a 5 star. Like I'm not saying that the book has to be like immediately, like I know that this is 5 stars within the first couple of sentences, but I can generally gauge on
yeah.
how I'm feeling and where I'm going to rate this book just on the first few sentences or whatever. So, yeah.
And I have been encouraged by people to push through in a book.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
generally what they go, you have to put. I mean, there is one book that I've got a lot of people saying, push through. And I'm sitting there going, I don't want to push through on this book. This book is not a push through for me. But,
Yeah.
I mean, I will at some point. I don't even know
Yeah.
where it is on my bookshelf anymore. That's how I can't even see it. It's somewhere. Who
Is
cares?
it When the Moon Hatched?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, we had this discussion before, I think.
Yeah. 100 pages. That is as far as I got.
Yeah.
And I have no
Yeah.
idea where it is on my shelves anymore.
Mm. Yeah, there's been a few, even with series. Now I'm less tempted to do it with series. If people are like, "Oh, book one wasn't great, but book two, book three, book four are exceptional," I'm like, I don't really want
Mm,
to trudge my way through a not great book. Like, there's too many books to be reading, so
mm,
I'll generally just be like, no thanks. Especially if I'm already in the middle of reading it and then everyone's like, oh, just push through, like book two is better. I'm like, yeah,
yeah.
but I'm not enjoying it right now. I don't want to, I'll probably DNF it.
Mm.
But yeah. What about you? What else do you find that you enjoy?
Side characters.
Yes.
Look, you come for the main, you come to read, and then it's like the main character is just there. Because then you
Yeah.
get the side characters, and the side characters are what will, for me, like personally, if you've got good side characters, it
Yeah.
brings it up a star.
Yeah.
The main character may be annoying, give me the side character. I'm here for it constantly.
100%.
And
Yeah.
that's what you get. And I mean, your main characters, oh, always like the reluctant hero, or like they get the ooh, and but then there's the side characters. They get the humor.
Yeah.
They get those unsung hero moments where you just. And I mean, I'm the same with TV shows. I'm always there for the side characters. Main
Hmm.
characters can, I don't know, they can go and save the world or something. I want the nitty gritty. I want the unfiltered what the fuck is going on kind of shit that you get with those side characters, and they sit there
Yeah.
questioning things, and you're just like, yes, you should be questioning these things, be the voice of reason.
Yes, please.
Like, someone has to be the sensible one here, and clearly it's not the main character, because there is no
Yeah.
brain cell there apparently at the moment. But I look, some of my absolute number one favorite characters in any book that I read have all been side characters.
Yeah, there's a lot of side characters that I really love. And they really do make or break a book, to be fair. Because if you don't like them, like not if you don't like the main character, but if you find them annoying, but then I love getting perspectives from the side characters too.
Mm, yes.
That's always fun. You generally don't get a lot of that with stories, but when they have an actual chapter or a couple of chapters in the book, and you kind of see everything from their eyes, and like they always bring that humor. Like Daddy Beans in Null and
Daddy
Void.
Beans!
Daddy Beans is one of my favorite side characters. Just all of the side characters in Null and Void really
Mm,
do bring that, and I remember Daddy Beans more than I do Mika.
yeah, absolutely.
Like
He's like,
every
it's,
time I forget her name, I have to read the back of the book to remember her name. Like
yes,
Mika is a great character, but I
it's
really
Daddy
connected
Beans.
with those. Yeah. And I always find that I connect more with the side characters because the side
Mm,
characters also have their own shit going on. And I'm like, oh yeah, like depression, I got that too. That
mm,
sort of thing. Um, so yeah, side characters are a big, big one as well.
mm. And I just, yeah, I look at, if I think of my favorite books, if someone will ask me, okay, who's your favorite character? And like, if I think of The Dagger and the Forbidden Air, it's Gage.
Yeah.
If I go the Kindred's Curse saga, it's Taryn. The
Mm,
minute he came on page, I was like, that's my boy!
yeah.
There's
Yeah.
my boy right there! Because they
Hmm.
just bring a certain air to them where you just go, yeah, this is it. You need townies, basically. Like, in sitcoms, you have townies.
Yeah.
You need townies, and these side characters are your townies. They bring the character to the book.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I'm just, mm,
Yeah.
love them.
Yeah. Side characters are definitely a big one.
I just want
Another
more
one for
books from their
me.
perspectives.
Yes. Yeah, like write a book in their whole perspective, please. Um, One for me, we keep talking about characters, is definitely good characters, good
Mm,
character descriptions, good character um, growth. Because with a book, you start the characters in a certain position, they are a certain way, and they
mm,
kind of need to fix a flaw, achieve a goal, and watching them on that journey is always really interesting. But if I don't like the main character at all, I don't agree with their decisions, I don't like their growth, I don't like the direction that they're going, I'm not going to enjoy the book because we're in that main character's perspective.
Mm.
And if I hate you, and I'm not going to read the book. It's
Yeah,
simple
well,
as.
exactly. It's having a three-dimensional character, which is reading it, which
Yes.
isn't easy to do, but
Yeah.
it's, to their perfections, they need to have flaws. There's
Yeah.
always, to their pros, there's always going to be a con, and if they just
Yeah.
come across as too perfect,
Yeah.
it's frustrating because you're sitting going, this
Yeah.
isn't, like, they're not, this is not human. And I
Yeah.
mean, some of them may not
Or,
actually be human, but
yeah.
it's
Yeah,
those flaws that just make them that little bit more, you can
definitely.
relate to them a little bit better.
Yeah, or when they feel flat, or like there's nothing worse than when you're reading a book and you know that you're reading a creation, like a
Mm,
character, like someone who's created this character. Whereas I love books where if if you just run into a forest and you come across these people, like you believe that these characters could be real. They
mm,
feel like real people, like you feel like you could be running in the forest and come across a group of mercenaries and they're the characters, that sort of thing.
mm.
Yeah, I think that's a massive thing, is feeling like they're real, feeling like they're three-dimensional, feeling like they have flaws, and like yes, they make mistakes and they fuck up. They're not perfect all the time. No one is.
Mm.
And um that also helps the reader kind of relate and connect with
Absolutely.
with the character, I'd say. Yeah.
We read books and we do see ourselves in these characters,
Yeah.
and their flaws, and you go, this. I mean, yes, they're characters, but we see ourselves in them. We see little
Hmm.
pieces of ourselves, and we go, cool. They're human too. They make errors. They're
Yeah.
gonna learn. Oh shit, I made that mistake once. Hopefully, oh no, I accidentally stabbed a person. Um,
Please don't tell me you've done that, Bree.
no. Do that on purpose. I'm a nurse. I give people immunizations. Just to clarify,
That's all right then.
it's always on purpose. But I don't, like, you don't want people to go, oh no, I stabbed a person. That's fine. So and so did this, and they didn't feel bad about it. It's just like, one,
Yeah.
they're fictional. Two, clearly they need to reevaluate their ideals. And having those ideologies and belief systems that, that's another thing I really do love in books, is when you have a fully fleshed out system of beliefs and gods, and,
Yeah.
I just love learning about all the different, the worldly beliefs, and, having all these different deities. Oh,
Yeah.
it I sit there and I'm just like, just tell me more, tell me more.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. Like I love Greek mythology, Roman mythology, Celtic mythology, but I also love when those authors actually create these worlds themselves and create,
Mm,
and not just have like a Greek mythology retelling or whatever, or inspired by Greek mythology, where they actually create their own gods and their own
mm,
thing. It's just a whole new level. And it really shows the skill of an author,
mm.
because they have to create gods, what they're gods for, how they connect with the world, how they work in the world, how do these people believe in them, why did it start? Like there's so much that goes into it, whereas with Greek mythology or Roman mythology, you already have all that information that you just need to insert into your story. Not that I'm saying that that's bad, but I love Greek
It's
mythology.
definitely not a bad thing, but it's when they've taken the time out to
Yeah.
create their own gods. They've got their own hierarchy of,
Yeah.
how things run, and who's in charge of what, and names, and what this
Yeah.
person means and what this name means, and oh, it just adds a whole other level of
Yeah.
dedication that someone has put into it, and you sit there going, and it's even better when they have at the back of the book or at the front of the book the gods, what they're the
Hmm.
god of, and what their people are called. And I'm just sitting there going, oh, this is glorious.
Yeah. Yeah. Another thing for me would be um, I've just lost my train of thought. Hold on.
You're throwing a short.
Yeah,
Choo
yeah.
choo.
Choo-choo. Um,
Your train of thought just choo choo all the way out.
yeah, just out one ear. Um, it's fine. I can edit it out. It's all good.
No, this is unfiltered. We're just slowly losing the plot. It's only
Almost
7:57.
8. Yeah, yeah,
Already losing the plot for the day. To be fair, it's been one of those days.
yes. I would say one thing that I do enjoy is when a book touches on hard topics that also relate to our world, like racism, colonialism, slavery, those sort of important topics. Um, I think is really important that, yes, what we're reading is fictional, but it's also a safe way to learn about these topics and also kind of, it's a safe way to deal with things that might actually trigger you.
Mm.
And I just really enjoy when those hard topics are discussed in books, because authors are really great with words and they can kind of just make people understand things in a different way compared to like an
Mm.
article online or a history book, you know what I mean?
I mean, I
Yeah.
think a really good example of an author like that, not an indie, but well respected, Suzanne Collins, who
Yes.
only writes when there's something to be written about, and she touches
Yes.
on those really hard topics.
Yeah.
I also
100%.
really do enjoy when, I mean, as someone who, worked in mental health,
Mm.
and I mean, we all have mental health. I mean, who doesn't? It's we're all really struggling, I know, in these days, and I think when mental health is touched on in
Mm-hmm.
books, because it does bring that extra dimension, and it goes, okay, cool. Like
Yeah.
it's okay to talk about these things, and
Yeah.
especially in books, we're all so careful when it comes to touching on those subjects, and it is one of those hard, those hard things that we don't talk about.
Yeah.
And when
Yeah,
authors do it
definitely.
in the right way, it feels less taboo.
Yeah, definitely. And it also then makes, if you're struggling with the same thing that the character is struggling with within the story, you're like, oh, I'm not alone. Like,
Mm.
and you feel connected to that character in a different way, and you feel like that is um just doing your happy dance in the corner.
Got hot chips.
Nice.
It's the happy food
Um,
thing.
yeah, yeah. I always did the happy food dance. But yeah, it definitely just makes you relate to that character, makes you feel not alone, especially if you feel like you can't talk about it with anyone else. I think it's a really big thing. Um, yeah. What about what? Anything else?
Sorry.
No, that's all right.
Water.
Guys, it's 8 p.m. at night. We're tired. We're just getting this recording done, so we're going to drink and eat if we need to.
Absolutely. It has been a long week.
And it's only
Um,
Tuesday.
um, I really, animal companions,
Yes.
dragons,
Yes.
any kind of animal companion. I'm sorry, animal companions just can steal the entire show.
Mm-hmm.
If we once again gonna just drop in Zoe here with the When Deities Awaken, and the animal companions in those books do just steal the
I love
show.
them. I love this.
They
They've
have
got
their
such personalities.
they have such personalities, and when those companions have those personalities, we're like, yep, this is like a whole like being of their own. Like they have thoughts, they clearly have opinions.
Yeah.
And they don't have to use words. They're just kind of there, and they're kind of like you can tell is like they have opinions on this. I'd like to talk about this, but clearly they don't speak English, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I just yeah,
Animal companions are definitely top tier.
Especially when you bring in dragons.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dragons are the best.
Dragons are the best. Another thing that I love is just any book that kind of features my favorite tropes. Like that will always
Mm,
make me so excited to read a book. So like really enjoy reading a book. And then you're just like, you know it's coming. Like when you see the trope trees online or whatever, and you're like, oh, here's the one bed scene, or uh, here's the enemies to lovers, that sort of thing. Um, I just love seeing that stuff, kind of seeing how every author does it differently.
mm, absolutely.
Yeah.
And especially, yeah, no, those, considering, and it was a good time. We talked about tropes last week.
Yeah.
It's, yeah, you just know, and you sit there going, oh, here's the fuck it. You see it, and then it's like,
Yes.
yes!
Yeah.
Throw
Yeah.
the book in the air, have a little bit of a moment,
Yeah.
go back to
Yeah.
reading it. And
Yeah.
it's those, I've definitely found those trope maps that authors do really helpful.
Same.
Because it
It kind of
definitely
helps me like
indicates.
weed out the books that I want to read and what I don't want to read.
Yeah, absolutely. Because if it's not,
Yeah.
if a trope that I don't, if there's a trope I don't like on there, I'm more likely to get. But to be fair, most of the time it's got maybe one trope I don't like, and the rest of the tropes I do like. I'm like, I can see past this one.
Yeah. Yeah. And leading off that as well, it just has sparked another thought is tension.
Oh,
Like whether it's tension within, we're mainly fantasy romance readers, so we're generally talking about fantasy romance here or contemporary romance. We're mainly romance readers, whatever
mm,
way you want to think about it. So obviously there's going to be a lot of tension between our female main character, male main character, or if they are same-sex couples, whatever. And I just love watching the tension.
mm,
And if an author can do it really well, it just makes everything 10 times better. Like every interaction, every snippy quip, every argument that they have, it just makes things so good and I love it. Like, which is why enemies to lovers is one of my favorite tropes of all time. It just
absolutely.
brings so much tension.
Oh, you can't go wrong with enemies to
Yeah.
lovers.
Like I don't think I've really, not that I remember because I probably DNF'd it, but um like
Probably.
an enemies to lovers story where they're actually not enemies to lovers and they actually like there's no tension. They feel like blank pieces of paper, like there's nothing to them, and then you're like,
Mm.
how am I supposed to root for these characters? You know?
They're giving me nothing to work with. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
When I love a true, like, I love a true enemies to lovers. Like, I
Yeah.
just stabbed you like 3 times, but now we're kind of sharing a bed and we're gonna cuddle. But I'm
Yeah,
not gonna be
I may have
happy.
stabbed you 3 times, but I'm also going to help you take care of those stab wounds.
Yeah, I stabbed you. I'm sort of sorry, but not really. But
You
you're
deserved
bleeding
it.
all over my clean floor, so. That I
Tension
would
is.
really love to read. I would love to. Someone
Uh,
please write True Enemies where he's
yeah.
like, I gotta clean you up. You getting blood all over my floor. Like I
Writing
just
that
had this
down for
clean last
future.
week. I
Yeah.
literally just had this clean last week. Why are you doing this to me?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And the humor. I love good humor in a book. If I sit there and I actually, I'm very easy to make laugh. But when I'm like, if I'm having a conversation, but if I'm reading, it's I'm very much like I don't really give much. It
Yeah.
has there has to be a lot of feeling behind something for me to have such a reaction. And if I read a really good line, I do just sit there out loud. Everyone
Yeah.
thinks I'm crazy. That's
Yeah.
fine. I probably am. Um, Not diagnosed, but definitely peer reviewed, as my friend once said. Um, Kudos to Emma for that line. That was brilliant. Um, and if I can sit there and I laugh, or if I'm in shock
Yeah.
and it's literally on my face, like I'm feeling it, and I have to close the book, like not just humor, anything, I'm sitting going, this is a good book. It's actually getting an
Yeah.
emotion from me. It's
Yeah.
actually having a visceral reaction to this.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
amazing.
I'm the same. Like I'm very like straight faced when I'm reading. But if a lot like another thing that bugs me is if an author is trying too hard to be funny.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, that's not fun. That's actually not funny. But yeah, if I get a visceral reaction where I'm laughing out loud, where there's lines that I'm reading out to my partner with no context and he's looking at me like, what? Um, when when it makes me cry, when I'm like, oh, no, when I want to stay up all night and finish this book because I need to know what's happening, then that is absolutely going to be a good book and a
Abs-
5-star book for me.
I 100% agree. I have one
Yeah.
book in mind about that which happened, which I read recently.
Yeah.
And I messaged you, and I
Yeah.
messaged Amy,
It was the
and
best.
then I messaged the author. I was like, I'm
Yeah.
sitting there, eyes like, what the hell have I just
Yeah.
read?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then the
Me too. Me
dedication
too.
of the second book. I'm so sorry. No, you're not.
No, she's really not. Yeah, like that book, I love recommending it to people just to get the reactions because
Famous.
it's great. And I like yeah, and I tell people you are actually going to hate me because I've recommended this book to you. But I love you, which is why I'm recommending you this book, but I know
You're
it's
gonna
going to
hate me, yes,
hurt.
but this is the final episode of the podcast. I will not be speaking to Anne for at least 5 working days. It's fine. I have recovered.
Yeah.
Um, but we will be having words with a certain someone soon.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
A fan.
Which is very exciting. Um, but yeah, what else? Anything else that you feel like?
I think I'm staring at my bookshelf now to see if it sparks anything.
Yeah.
Are you sparking anything? Is there a brain cell present? Have you
It's
got
probably
anything
disappeared.
else?
I don't think so. I think that's the main things that I kind of
Mm.
look for and really
Mm.
enjoy. Um,
I think I can't.
there is one thing though I would
Mm.
say is I could read a book and absolutely adore it and give it 4 stars because
Mm.
it doesn't give me that 5-star feeling.
Mm-hmm.
And I think most readers will know what I'm saying. If you're not a reader, I don't know why you're listening to this podcast and you don't know why what I'm saying, but I think most people understand when I say the 5-star feeling, you
Yep.
know, where you just want to like live with this book for the rest of your life.
Mm-hmm. And it's
Yeah.
such a good feeling when it hits.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I can love a book. I can love everything about a book and I can give it 4 stars and I cannot have any complaints about the book, but it just didn't give me that 5-star feeling.
Mm. I think that, yeah, that's a very good point, and it's not something that's easy to explain
No.
because it's hard to describe that exact feeling where you of how a 5-star book actually make you feel proper.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's yeah, that's a very very good one.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't have anything else to add. Nothing else is sparking in my brain.
Alrighty. Well, speaking of sparking, then what's your spark of joy this week?
Well, on Saturday, we had the Games Fair that was held at the Cloud in Auckland, which is run by the Cancer Society to
Yeah.
fundraise towards cancer funding and all that. So I got to do that with my friends. Was there from 9 o'clock till 2 o'clock.
Oh
It was
wow.
a very long morning,
Yeah.
but um, it was my cup was very full afterwards. We got to
Nice.
do they do they're these guys called Questbook, and they do D&D one shots, and they did like a 45-minute Wizard's Tower heist, which we did, and we managed to survive with only 3 members of our party dying, which is pretty good. 3 out of 8.
Nice.
big party, but the fact that we didn't, only three of us died, pretty good going. I'd like to just say I did not die.
Yes.
I played a character who was all muscle and no brain cells. She had a -1 to her intelligence. So
Checks out. Checks. No, I'm just
total
kidding.
intelligence. Total intelligence was 8 with a -1, and I was like, that seemed like me. So I just got to hit things really hard, which was nice.
Nice.
And I bought some new dice, and I won a dice, which was pretty cool because you can never have too many dice.
No.
And the dice, you got to, if you roll, got to pick a D20, and you rolled it. If you got a 20, you got a voucher. If you got a 1, you got to keep the dice because 1 is bad in D&D. So
Right.
that means the dice is cursed. So I got to keep the dice because they'd be like, we don't want a natural 1 to go back in here. And I'm like, cool, mine. My dice. And I bought a new card game as well, which is Poetry for Neanderthals.
Oh.
Which I keep seeing videos of, and I really want people to play it with. It just sounds so. I'm like, this sounds like me. It's -1 to my intelligence. But yeah, what is your spark of joy for the week?
My spark of joy for the week would be that yesterday was my birthday. I turned 25. And thank you. It was just really, really great. How much love I had, like, within the community there was. Like, I was like on Instagram and I was getting DMs and I was getting so many story posts, and I had gifts turning up at my work from like my friends, and it was just really great. And just made me feel really loved, and it just made me really happy. So yeah, I think that's my spark of joy this week.
Which is well deserved.
Thank you.
well deserved. Much necessary. Yeah. All right, what's your plug?
My plug this week would be to take time out and spend it with friends. And just, if someone offers to do something and you're like, you generally will say no because you have work or whatever, just take it and do it, because, life's short. I'm getting all philosophical now that I turned 25, but
in your old age, you got a
old age.
In your old age.
I've got an oldest wisdom from turning 25, but no, honestly, just doing something. Like, I'm heading down to Auckland this weekend, and I normally wouldn't do it, like, just on my own, jumping on a bus to go meet some friends because I got invited, and I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna do it. So I would definitely plug just doing something that you normally wouldn't do, and just make those memories and have those experiences. What about you?
Hot chips.
Hot chips. Nice.
I don't look. Anne gets the sentimental part of the plug of the week. My plug is just hot chips.
Yeah, you'll probably have something cool next week. I probably won't, so
I can't remember what's happening next week. Something's gonna happen. I don't know. Where am I? Who's this? What are we doing?
We're recording a podcast, Bree.
Oh yeah. Our baby gets born tomorrow. That's weird to say, but our baby gets born tomorrow. That's so exciting. We can't wait for you guys to be. Hopefully, you've stuck with us up to episode 5.
Yeah.
Which is wild.
Yeah, I can't believe we're recording episode 5. Episode 1's going live tomorrow. We've got our first author interview coming up
on Friday.
Friday.
We are so excited about.
Yes.
I can't wait. I can't wait to see what this. I need to send some more emails out now that we're actually about to hit the ground
running.
So we have got some very exciting things planned. We've got some very exciting people who want to talk to us, which is just amazing that people want to talk to us. Yeah. Who wouldn't, though? We're pretty awesome, and we're pretty funny.
Awesome. Yeah.
I mean, if you're not here for the books, you're probably here just to listen to us yap.
Which we appreciate.
Which we do. We really do appreciate. So hi to all our friends.
Hi, thank you for listening.
Thanks for tuning in. If you got name dropped, lucky you.
Prepare for
I don't know.
more.
Yeah, prepare for more. Your names will be dropped. Oh, you know who we didn't mention? We haven't said Rosie. Hi, Rosie.
Hi, Rosie.
Hi, Abby.
Hi, Abby. Happy birthday, Abby.
We just look, I think we've just got like this consistency where we name drop certain people every episode, and we just
Yeah.
haven't done it today.
No, we haven't.
But we've name dropped now. So
Yeah.
you guys aren't forgotten. We just have had a really long week.
Yeah.
But that's okay. We will be on the ball by Friday. By
Yes.
next week. From here on out, we might be a little bit sleep deprived, but sounds like enough.
That's all right. We'll do it
is.
for you guys.
Absolutely. Alrighty. Take us on out.
Thank you so much for listening to us rambling about books. We truly appreciate you. Make sure to subscribe on your podcast listener of choice and follow us on our Instagram at Broke Book Girls Pod and our personal Instagrams at Runaway Irish Girl and at Cheesin' Reads. We will see you next week with our next episode. Bye.